So I'm going to go back to that radar, and I'm going to focus more on this severe thunderstorm warning. Again, you guys are seeing a lot of lightning near the Sampson area, entering the Geneva area soon, and this will continue. But another thing that we need to talk about is that heavy rain threat. We're going to see a lot of rain from this severe thunderstorm warning, and just in general, I'm going to give you a larger overview. So we have this area of rain. If you realize, this has been moving very slowly. Earlier, this tornado warning was up until 4:30. It is now 4:48, and it is still in Geneva County. And so this is going to be propagating. I'm actually going to put this track on more to the east-southeast. So this is going to be moving more in a slower motion. So I'm going to put another track on around 35 miles per hour. I'm going to zoom in just a tad bit more near Geneva, and I'm going to turn lightning tracker off right now. East-southeast, around 35. So like if you live in near the extreme southwestern portions of Houston County, even near Madrid, you're going to see lots of rain from this. And this is just the rain. The strongest winds are going to be more along this line right here. So Geneva, this is really going to be in your area by any second. We're seeing a lot of rain. You're probably hearing those gusty winds right now just outside. This will continue to propagate east-southeast. If you live near Madrid, around 5:30, so in the next 30 minutes. Excuse me, even Cottonwood around 5:41. And again, this is for the severe thunderstorm warning with the possibility of 60-mile-per-hour winds, heavy rain, and frequent lightning. So we're going to see lots of lightning with this. And again, we did talk about the heavy rain aspect where some portions of the wiregrass are under that level 3 risk for flash flooding. So if this continues to train over the same area and this continues to move slowly, we have other problems to worry about. But right now, you're starting to see the rain in Slocum. We're going to track that lightning. And lightning is usually a good indicator for storm is strengthening. Now, one thing that is interesting that I'm seeing is you're getting a little bit of lightning detection outside, a little bit outside. That's actually indicative that the storm is trying to strengthen, maybe in this area, producing more convection later on down the line. So it wouldn't be out the realm of possibility since we're starting to see lightning over here and detecting more lightning. We're going to see some more storms maybe develop. And it looks like this is going to turn more into more of a solid line. You see some storms out here to your west. You see some storms developing over here, but lots of lightning associated. And this is moving slowly to the east. And we're worried about the possible training effects associated with this as well. Now, we're going to continue to watch this be in Slocum. Right now, you're not seeing any rain, but Geneva, you're really starting to see those heavy winds and also that rain. Really right in there. I'm going to zoom in now for areas in that severe thunderstorm warning. If you're near Unola, near West Maple Avenue in Geneva, you're really starting to get that heavy rain, and you're really starting to feel those winds. Again, 50 to 60-mile-per-hour winds. That's nothing to sneeze at. If you have anything outside that is loose, it can be blown over. So we're going to continue to just watch this little area. You see this frequent lightning, hearing a lot of lightning in Sampson, hearing a lot of lightning really in the most of Geneva County near Coffee Springs, along Highway 52. Hartford, this will be in your area soon as well. You're going to see some heavy rain. You're seeing light to moderate rain right now. Then once this continues to move east, very slowly around 35 miles per hour. Last week, we were seeing these storms move around 60 to 65 miles per hour. So this is moving really much slower than what we're seeing this week. And each storm is different. So we're going to continue to see this. And then further out to our east near Dothan, I think this main line of storms as far as the severe gust should remain to the south of us. But as far as the rain, you're getting rain all the way up near Enterprise, getting rain up near Ozark, lighter rain. But again, we're seeing an increase in lightning. So we're going to watch this area as well. Because if lightning continues to pick up, this might continue to strengthen as well. So we're going to watch this area, but it looks like the majority of the heavy winds and the heavy rain is still to the south of us. And I'm going to check some of our velocity products and see how strong those winds are, at least in the storm right now. We're going to go to storm relative. And it looks like also, just for my folks in Geneva County that's still under that tornado warning, that main area of rotation is now to the south of us. So if you're in Geneva County, at least as of right now, that main area of rotation that we have been looking at, now just to the south of 185 off the Florida border. So right now, if you live in Geneva County, you're on the backside of that rotation, and we're going to continue to watch this, but still not seeing anything indicative of a tornado warning. Now we're going to go back to regular velocity, and we're going to sample some of these winds. Some of these winds do look somewhat strong in this area. Seeing winds near 34, 42, 58, and that's why you have that severe thunderstorm warning. And I'm even going to go a little bit further north near Sampson. So we're getting really 40 to 50 mile per hour winds mainly on the southern side. But again, that is indicative of what you're seeing in this area. So the strongest winds currently are going to be where you see the sharpest gradient between the red and the green. So really along this Florida border, entering Geneva, and right here. This is where you're seeing the strongest winds, and this is continuing to move very slowly. And if you're in Geneva, you're really right on that edge. If you're on the southern part of Geneva, you might be getting light rain right now, but if you're on that northern side along 196, you're getting very heavy rain and gusty winds. Sampson, you've been getting heavy rain for a while. Coffee Springs, now trying to make its way into Hartford. This is coming right your way very soon. And this looks like this, if this does continue to move more to the east and east-southeast, it'll be near your way in Malvern, Madrid, Cottonwood. You'll see some of those gusty winds as well. Whether they extend this or not, again, this warning does go out up until 5:30. Am I correct, Chad?
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're good, Jordan. I just want to take the time also to address some Facebook comments since we're in sort of a lull here.
Yes.
We're not dealing with any tornadoes on the ground any longer. And so, just kind of want to go through and answer a couple of these. We're also on the TV side, so we're interacting with you in a really unique way, of course, through television, and then also on Facebook. So we have, looking through a couple of questions, a lot of questions here about what about Geneva? And so, Geneva, you're under that severe thunderstorm warning until 5:15, so you're absolutely giving the heavy rain in there. And I'll answer one more question before I go to kind of some new information we're getting. I had another question about rainfall, and so we are all under a flood watch here until tomorrow afternoon due to repeated rounds of rainfall. So you can see how slow these storms have been moving. We've been talking to you about the fact that these storms have been moving east to southeast, this one supercell, at about 35 miles per hour at the most. So what happens is we get repeated rounds of rainfall over the same area, and that's where, we get into some flooding concerns. And this is new, and I want to share it with you, Jordan.
Okay.
We have a flood advisory that's in effect until 7 p.m. This is, sort of one scale down from a flash flood warning, but it's still letting us know that rain is starting to accumulate. We have a flood advisory. This is across Coffee and Geneva counties.
Okay.
So flood advisory for Coffee and Geneva County until 7 p.m. tonight. The text reads that minor flooding is ongoing or expected to begin. We've already seen, Jordan, between 1 and 2.5 inches of rain, and an additional 1 to 2 inches of rain have fallen. And if you want to step out, Jordan, for just a second, I'll get the polygon up there for you on that, the advisory here, and that way we can kind of outline it a little bit better. So yeah, just answering that question regarding flooding. It is a real concern tonight. We have a flood watch that goes through tomorrow, and that is why, because we're seeing these repeated rounds of rainfall, but also, we're seeing rainfall in storms that are moving very, very slowly.
And I'm really glad that you mentioned earlier, Chad, even in Coffee County, you're not under that severe thunderstorm warning, but you're still seeing heavy rain regardless, which will cause those problems across the area.
Yes. So still waiting for that to populate on the flood advisory. There it is. Okay. And I'm going to turn the severe off for just a second. Jordan, if you'll take us through the flood advisory, I'll get it back here for you. Statement, let's see. It should populate. It did populate just a second ago. Flood advisory. There we go. Is it on yet for us? It should be. There we go. Yeah, so just take us through kind of what we're talking about here.
And like Chad mentioned, this is basically a step below of a flood warning, which means that we're seeing a lot of rain at the moment, but it's continuing over the same area when we're starting to see maybe some of the pretenses of the possibility of flash flooding, mainly in this area right here. And we're going to continue to watch this right here because this area right here, my hand tracker isn't working right now, but this area that's highlighted between Sampson, Geneva, Lockhart, and near Andalusia. You can see these green polygons. And this was coordinated by both the National Weather Service in Tallahassee and Mobile, because this is Mobile side and this is Tallahassee side. That includes Geneva and Coffee County. And it really outlines the thunderstorm where you're seeing this flash flood advisory, because these storms are continuing to move slowly east around 35 miles per hour. And it wouldn't be surprising, based off what we've been seeing, it might be moving even slower than that, because these storms are not really taking a budge at all. And I'm going to step off the screen just for a little bit, and so you can get a better view of what's going on. Near that Slocum area, Geneva, Sampson, just to the south of Enterprise. So these are the areas that are going to see the possibility of flash flooding in this area. Not necessarily a warning, but be on the lookout. If you're on the roads, go inside. You don't need to be anywhere, especially where that flood advisory is ongoing.
Yeah. Jordan, you're exactly right. I mean, a lot of the focus this afternoon has been on severe potential. We've had a confirmed tornado warning across western, southwestern Geneva County. And so that has kind of been our focus. But obviously, on a broader scale, we are talking about very heavy amounts of rainfall that are going to be coming in these rounds of strong to severe thunderstorms. And so that's kind of the bigger picture as we go through tonight and into tomorrow morning. So Jordan's been talking about this. We still have a severe thunderstorm warning right now that continues to remain in effect for Geneva County until about 5:15. And Jordan, if we can just reset hand tracker there for a second, and that way I'll be able to get back in. The severe thunderstorm warning goes till 5:15. I think we could find some winds 50 to close to 60 miles per hour, some very small hail, and then also some very heavy amounts of rain in here as well. And that's the general concern. We also have a tornado watch that's in place for the entire region through 8 o'clock tonight. So we're coming up now on 5 p.m. So WDHN News at 5 starts right now, and the news is weather. We have been with you wall to wall throughout the afternoon because of a tornado warning in western Geneva County. Now we're tracking heavy rainfall that could lead to flooding overnight tonight, and a severe thunderstorm warning that's in place for Geneva County right now until 5:15. So thank you for joining us and sticking with us tonight. We're going to stay with you on the air until the potential for severe weather is over. And Michael Rinker is at the desk as well. He will be monitoring any other potential issues that come from this, such as damage reports, and let us know about that. So we have team coverage here tonight. Jordan Ambrose, Brian Boggiano, also in the Weather Center monitoring all of this. So with that being said, we're going to get right back into our coverage now. We still have our severe thunderstorm warning that continues to remain in effect for Geneva County until 5:15, and it's because of the possibility of some very heavy amounts of rain that right now seem to be falling mainly across central Geneva County. That is the concern, is for the heavy rain that is falling in central Geneva County. These storms continue to progress to the east-southeast here at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. We have a flood advisory that's also in place right now for Coffee and Geneva County that is advertising the possibility of some heavy amounts of rain that could lead to aerial flooding that is sort of one below a flash flood warning. And so our hand tracker is giving us a little trouble, so I'm going to step over here and reset it for us. That way we'll be good to go, and we should be good to go from that point forward. Jordan, if you just want to hang tight here with me, make sure we got hand tracker working, okay, because we had some problems with it. But again, thanks for being with us. If you've been with us throughout the day, you know it's been busy. It started with a tornado watch that was issued earlier this afternoon, and now we continue to deal with a severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect here for Geneva County until 5:15. And our hand tracker is giving us problems. So Jordan, what I'll have you do is just kind of drive for me, and we'll go in a little tighter now into Geneva County. And just to the north of Geneva, you can see a lot of very heavy amounts of rain. Sampson in this. We're talking just to the south of Coffee Springs, some heavy amounts of rain. Some of the rainfall rates that we've been dealing with here today in the range of 1 to 2 inches per hour. And part of the reason that we are concerned about flooding and that our flooding threat is with us through tonight is because a lot of these storms are moving extremely slowly. In addition to the flooding, as mentioned, the heavy rain tracking through Geneva County, we have a severe thunderstorm warning that remains in effect for Geneva County until 5:15. That is mainly for some wind gusts up to 60 miles per hour. Jordan will go over to our velocity, and you can sample some of the winds that we may be seeing in Geneva County. And it looks like most of the severe winds, at least, have maybe backed down. There could be some strong wind gusts to the west of Geneva that could be in the range of maybe 30 to at times close to 40 miles per hour. So that's something that we're watching, the heavy amounts of rain that continue to fall, along with some of the very gusty winds. Jordan's going to show you and sample some of those winds in there. And my guess would be that some of these here maybe not quite reaching severe criteria, but still some wind gusts in the range of 40 to 50 miles per hour in that area. And so as the storm continues to track to the east, there's 49 miles per hour, 54, 56 miles per hour. So more than likely, the most intense part of the winds in Geneva County may be shunted to the south side, just to the west of Geneva. There's some wind gusts that could be pushing 55 to 60 miles per hour close to Somerset. Go ahead, Jordan.
Vaughnville as well. Like, it's right on that border between where the strongest of the winds are at.
Yeah, so there's Vaughnville, 58 miles per hour. So coming into Somerset.
There's Sizemore Highway.
185. I'll let you take over for just a second, Jordan. I'm going to try to reset our hand tracker.
Okay.
And that way we can kind of keep going from there. But what Jordan and I are alluding to is the possibility of some wind gusts near Geneva, just the south of Geneva, in this general area that are pushing 55 to 60 miles per hour in this general range. So obviously, the threat of a tornado for the moment has decreased, but we still have some very high amounts of wind coming into Geneva as we speak. So if we can, Jordan, I think it'd be a good idea to have people in the community of Geneva right now maybe get into that safe spot, shelter. The highest wind gusts that we can find right now are coming into Geneva. And again, we'll look at our velocity product.
Close to 60 to 70.
Close to 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts that are now pushing right into Geneva. You can see that sort of enhanced area of red. So if you're in Geneva, and then even as far as black, we would want you at least away from windows. It can't hurt to be in that safe spot. And so that's kind of a good idea, a good practice here when we get these severe thunderstorm warnings. I believe we do have some video. I'm not sure where it's from, but if we can pull that up and take a look at it if we have that video available. And until we get that video, I'll continue to talk to you about what's going on here with the weather. So again, we do have that severe thunderstorm warning for Geneva County until 5:15. And do we have that video now? Or are we still waiting on it back there? There we go. So does anyone have any information here on what that is and what we're looking at and where it's from? So, okay, let's take a look. Here we go. I'm reading some of the text. This is from the Geneva County Emergency Management Director, and they are looking at what appears to be from earlier. Again, this is not right now. This is from earlier. A possible tornado near Nellie Dunn Road and Fink Mill Road. So from the Geneva County Emergency Management Director, courtesy of Brian Smith, and we are looking at what appears to be near Nellie Dunn Road and Finn Milk Road, a possible tornado. I want to reiterate that this is not something that's happening right this second, but rather what we were looking at earlier. So we're going to wait. We're going to see if this is confirmed a little bit later on. We have a new tornado warning that's coming out, so we're going to reset. New tornado warning that's out for the southern half of Geneva County. This is exactly where Jordan and I were just talking about just a moment ago, is some of those strong wind gusts now look like they have translated more so over to some rotation. So tornado warning for southern Geneva County and that will go until 5:30, which will take us to the bottom of the hour. So I want to get right back over to the chroma key here. And if we can, I'd like to get over to our velocity product. And Jordan, if you can grab velocity on this, that would be great.
If you can step off, I would disconnect and I'll just man it from the
So if you're listening, this is a tornado warning for southern Geneva County until 5:30. This is radar indicated rotation. We have an enhanced area of winds that is just to the southwest of Geneva at this time. And there it is. You can see it to the north of New Hope, south of Geneva. We have winds that are blowing towards and away from the radar site. And once again, one thing we've been talking to you about pretty much all day long is the possibility of these storms picking up speed, strengthening, then weakening, and then kind of strengthening again today. A lot of these storms are cyclic. So in Geneva County, we have rotation that is developing really quickly near Highway 160. What is that, Jordan? That is
Highway 163.
Highway 163.
near Owens Road.
In Holmes Road in southern Geneva County. This is brand new. Tornado warning that has just been issued a moment ago. We were looking at some enhanced wind to the west and to the south of Geneva, and then we got a new scan, and now it looks like we're picking up on some rotation. This is in southern Geneva County until 5:30. Rotation is crossing Highway 163 as we turn on our rotation detector. You can see it very clearly there, and when we start to get these brown colors in the rotation detector, you can see we go from weak to strong. So this is going to be, at a minimum, some strong rotation. And this is going to be, looks like Tommy Lane as well.
Yes.
So between Highway 163 in southern Geneva County and Tommy Lane, we have rotation that continues to tighten up. A possible tornado warning that goes in effect until, or is in effect till 5:30. This is going to pass Highway 2. Here's Highway 163. Rotation is over Highway 163 as we speak, coming up on English Lane. And then further south, as it continues to track to the south, Jordan, if you could back out just a little for us, there's Highway 2, which would be up next, and then into the community of New Hope. So let's see if we can watch the trends here. We'll put this into animation mode, and we'll turn back over our velocity. And there it is.
You can see it
came
tighten
up
up
just like that. So the rotation tightened up really quickly. Earlier on, we were talking about some of the high winds that were coming into Geneva. We were telling you, in fact, moments before, that it wasn't a bad idea to shelter if you're in Geneva because of those high winds. And now, indeed, we've taken this a scale up, and we have some rotation that continues to develop in the area. So if you're in Geneva right now, it's okay to take a deep breath. The rotation and possible tornado is going to go south of the community of Geneva. The rotation is clearly south of Geneva. It's right now about to cross over Highway 2 in a matter of probably 10 to 15 minutes, but rotation is south of Geneva. So sirens may be sounding in Geneva, that is a possibility, but the rotation that we are watching at least is passing just to the south of Geneva. It's riding right now right along Highway 2 and probably going to the southeast, Jordan, here again.
Yes.
What's our wind speed here with the direction that this thing is traveling?
I'm going to pull that up right now. It is moving east at 30 miles per hour. But
So
I'm seeing more of a
southeast. I would probably make the assessment it's moving more southeast than anything else.
Let me see.
At about 35 miles per hour. So we'll pull out.
Moving southeast at 20, just the new update. Southeast at 20.
Okay, and that's new. So
Yes.
southeast, we'll say between 20 and 30 miles per hour. So it's a slow mover. We have the rotation that right now in southern Geneva County is about to, or is crossing over Highway 2. The rotation is going to pass to the southwest of Black. If you're in the community of Black, I still want you in your safe spot, staying there until the warning is allowed to expire. When they draw up these tornado warning polygons, they do it in such a way that there is room for error. They leave a margin for error in case the storm was to deviate a little bit north or a little bit south. So there's kind of the saying that if you're in this polygon, you have to move to shelter, regardless of where you are. So Geneva, we can tell you that with almost certainty the rotation is going to pass to your south. You still have enhanced winds on the south side of the community of Geneva. So while the tornado or possible tornado may be passing to your south, we want you in your safe spot regardless because of the winds. Tornado and possible tornado here that is developing. This is radar indicated right now crossing along Highway 2 in southern Geneva County. And we'll see if we can't get in here a little tighter and call out some crossroads. And we can also turn our animation mode off there. So there's Highway 2. The tornado and the rotation is passing over Highway 2 and New Hope, the community of New Hope. If you're in New Hope right now, don't try to go outside. Don't try to look for the rotation. It is there, and it's crossing over where you are right now. So Highway 2 and New Hope in southern Geneva County. We want you in your safe spot. Same thing with Smith Crossroads. The rotation is going to be coming up on you very quickly. So a couple areas of rotation here that I'm seeing with the most defined, crossing over Highway 2 just east of New Hope in southern Geneva County. Jordan, would you agree with that?
Yes, and we're getting some new updates just as far as that main line of storms.
Okay.
Now there's a severe thunderstorm warning that extends into Houston County as well, including Cottonwood and also Madrid in southern portions of Houston County.
Okay.
And that has a tornado possible tag on it.
So let's pan out here, and we want to make sure we're covering everybody. We'll pan out, go to the storms across Houston County.
And there's also...
and we'll turn on our radar product.
There's also
so there's our tornado warning polygon. You can see it for southern Geneva County until 5:30. And then this whole complex of showers and thunderstorms is going to be moving into southern Houston County. And that is for the possibility of wind gusts near 60 miles per hour. And also some small hail. That warning goes until 6:30. You can see where it includes. It includes Slocum, does not include Dothan. This is south of Dothan. It is a severe thunderstorm warning for Houston County until 6:30 because of the complex of showers and thunderstorms that continues to track east into Houston County. We're concerned about winds up to 60 miles per hour possible in Houston County, as well as some quarter-size hail, and they're also, of course, watching this whole line for rotation as it continues to track towards the east.
And there's also a newly issued flood warning for Geneva County as well up until 8:15.
Okay, so flood warning for Geneva County until 8:15. You know, for the moment, we're not going to focus as much on that. We're going to stick with our tornado warning, but something you need to know is that we have rain that's falling in Geneva County and has been falling for several hours now. So the very real possibility that we're going to start running into some flooding issues is going to occur here in Geneva County and then maybe into Houston County eventually. So radar presentation continue to show a tornado warning for Geneva County until 5:30. This is for the southern part of Geneva County, and I have Brian Boggiano here with me. Brian, if you'll do me a favor and try to reset our hand tracker, that way we can get it to use here because it's been a little slow, and I'm not sure if it's because of the remote we're using, but regardless, we'll stay focused on the weather here for just a moment. Tornado warning continues. Right now, it looks like
They just canceled it.
they did cancel it.
Yeah, they just canceled it.
Okay, so they're canceling the tornado warning for southern Geneva County. The rotation has moved out of Geneva County. The rotation the whole time was right about here in southern Geneva County. So it progressed pretty quickly onto the Florida side. However, we still have heavy amounts of rain, and we have a severe thunderstorm warning now out for Houston County until 6:30. This includes Cottonwood. This includes Rehoboth, Madrid. This also is going to include areas along 231 going south of Dothan, and then 109 in southern Houston County. So confirming now, I know it's a little confusing because we had the warning. It came on for southern Geneva County until 5:30. it has been allowed to expire. The rotation has now moved into Holmes County in Florida, away from Geneva County. We still have heavy amounts of rain, some blinding rain possible with some of this activity that continues to move through. And so that's something we want to worry about. And Jordan was just talking a moment ago about how we have some, the possibility of flooding that may be ongoing here for the next little while. So if you're in Geneva, if you're in southern Geneva County, the good news is the tornado warning has been allowed to expire. So Geneva, all clear from the threat of a tornado. Some of these smaller communities that we were talking about as well, south and east of Geneva, like Somerset, they also are no longer underneath that tornado warning. So the tornado warning in southern Geneva County has been allowed to expire. It was only out for probably 10 minutes or less before the rotation, and I'll show that to you here. We can go over to our Dothan radar site, show you the velocity, and you can see clearly now that the rotation has moved into or away from southern Geneva County. So again, tornado warning canceled for southern Geneva County. We still do have a plethora of warnings out there. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that continues for Geneva County until 6:30, and then also our severe thunderstorm warning that continues for Houston County, southern Houston County, until 6:30 as well. We also have aerial flood advisories that are in place, and a flash flood warning that has now been issued, it looks like. So what is the latest on that, Jordan? It looks like it just came out maybe a moment ago.
Yes, up until 8:15, grabbing the details right now. Doppler indicated thunderstorms producing heavy rain between 2 to 3.5 inches have already fallen, with rainfall rates between 2.5 and 4 inches in the hour. And they still expect another 1 to 2 inches of rain to keep on going.
So that is a flash flood warning now for Geneva County until that is going to be 8:15. This includes Sampson, this includes Geneva, this includes Coffee Springs, and it makes sense when you start to think about it. We have been with you on the air now for several hours on Facebook Live, a couple hours at least, and the one thing that we keep talking about is all these different warnings that have been issued for Geneva County. And the rain that has been falling over Geneva County has really been relentless. And so it makes sense that we now have a flash flood warning for Geneva County until 8:15 tonight. You're looking at our rainfall totals over the past 6 hours in Geneva County, sampling some of these, 2 inches, 2.8 inches, nearly 3 inches of rainfall near Sampson. Close to Coffee Springs, talking about 1 inch of rainfall. Geneva County, over 1.5 inches of rainfall, all within the past 6 hours. So those are highly effective rainfall rates, and they are rainfall rates that are concerning to us. It's why we have a broad flash flood watch for the area. So it kind of goes back to the old saying, turn around, don't drown. If you see standing water, especially as we approach nighttime and sunset, do not attempt to drive through that standing water. It's just not a good idea, and the chances are your vehicle will not make it. So brand new, hot off the press, flash flood warning for Geneva County until 6:15. Heavy amounts of rain have fallen. You can check out our 6-hour rainfall totals, and we are talking about 2 to close to 3 inches of rain, especially over western Geneva County, where it has been raining the longest. So that's the latest with the flash flood warning. I want to get back over to some concerns with the severe portion of what's going on here today. So we'll turn back over our radar product. And, obviously we have very, very heavy amounts of rain coming into Geneva. It's been raining in Geneva for several hours. Sampson, it's been raining for several hours. But embedded in here, we're going to find some wind gusts that could be up to 55 to 60 miles per hour in this very heavy area of rainfall. And so that's why we have the severe thunderstorm warning that is out. You can see the severe thunderstorm warning includes Geneva County until 6:30. This goes east and into Houston County as well until 6:30. This includes Cottonwood. This includes, Graceville south of here as well, and that is for the possibility of wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour and maybe some small hail. What I'd like to do is, we've been checking this here, is going back over to our hail detector and seeing if there's any hail. And maybe in southern Geneva County when we had that rotating part of the storm come through 10, 15 minutes ago. But for the most part, we have not seen a ton in the way of hail reports. This has mainly been a wind deal today with some embedded circulation. So that's the good news. But, obviously, we have enough on our plate with the very heavy amounts of rain, the severe thunderstorm warning that we've been dealing with, and by the way, a tornado watch that's in effect for the entire area until 8 p.m. tonight. So what's happening is we get these big clusters of storms, and then on the leading edge of some of these storms, you get some small-scale circulation, and that circulation is enough to prompt the tornado warnings that we've been seeing. So I wouldn't be surprised before the night is done if we don't have another tornado warning or two, but we also have other hazards out there, the wind, the possibility of some heavy rainfall. So there are still some spots, surprisingly, that are dry, and that would include portions of southern Houston County, the Cottonwood area, just now starting to see some rain. So what I want to do is put a new track on the big cluster of storms that continue to back build. We're going to show you when you may get wet and also when you may start to see some of the very heavy amounts of rain. So we're going to track this. These storms today have been jogging either east or due southeast at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. And so here's a fresh track. And these are approximate times of arrival, by the way. So give or take a couple of minutes, the rain and the wind may get to you. Norma by around 5:27, Madrid 5:48, Cottonwood by 5:55, Greenwood here by around 6:18. So they're putting these severe thunderstorm warnings out for an hour in advance or so, some of the very heavy rain and some of the very heavy wind that continues to move along this leading edge. So severe thunderstorm warning continues for southern Houston County, as well as southern Geneva County until 6:30. We also have a flash flood warning for parts of Geneva County. There's a green polygon here. It may be a little hard to tell, but there is a green polygon that goes like that. And it is a flash flood warning for Geneva County until 6:15 and, 8:15. And that is because of the very heavy amounts of rain that have been falling. I mean, check this out. We'll put this into animation over the past several hours from about 4:50 up until now, so about 45 minutes in reality. But you can see these storms are trying to back build on themselves. And I think that's what's probably going to happen from this point forward, is along this leading edge, we have warm, moist, and unstable air out ahead of it. So it's possible that we get some quick spin-up rotations, a tornado warning or two, a tornado, and also some very strong winds. Then, once you get to the backside of the leading edge, this is where you start running into problems with heavy rain and flooding. We've lost some of the instability in this area across western Geneva County because the environment is worked over, but we have not lost the heavy rain and the potential for flooding that is ongoing. So I want to pause this for a second. What I want to do is start getting back down to street level a little bit again. We showed you the broader picture, but if you're in Slocum right now, you have some very heavy rain that is moving into your region relatively soon, and then it's going to pick up in intensity. So we'll say Slocum in the next 5 to 10 minutes, rain is going to pick up in intensity and in coverage. Further down the line, as we go towards Esto within the next 15 minutes, you're hearing those rumbles in the distance as you listen in Esto. You're going to get some very heavy amounts of rain, perhaps winds gusting 55, close to 60 miles per hour in that area. And again, this is that leading edge that I was talking to you about. Further down the line, we can continue to go here. This is now more so into our Florida counties, but you get the idea. And Jordan, will you pull out for me real quick and get us back home?
Yeah, I got you. 1 second. Step off.
Matter of fact, I may be able to do it. There we go.
Oh, there you go.
so that's the deal with the leading edge, is this is where you're going to get the high wind, the potential for brief spin-up tornadoes, some very small hail, and then once you get past this leading edge that is now continuing to work through southern Geneva County and into southern Houston County, it becomes more of a rainfall issue. We have the flood warning, flash flood warning for Geneva County that has been issued as well. How about for the rest of us? I mean, this has really been an issue today for folks along state line between Alabama and Georgia. There is less instability as you work your way north. So from Ozark to Abbeville to Troy, there's less instability to work with. That's why we're not seeing as many severe thunderstorm warnings and tornado warnings. So the instability axis runs like this. If this is state line, we have a stationary boundary right here, and that boundary is separating cool air on the north side, warm air on the south side, and then right along it is where you get the clashing of the air masses along this stationary boundary and some embedded pockets of rotation. And that is why we've been seeing the tornado warnings and also the severe thunderstorm warnings. But right now, our severe thunderstorm warning continues for Houston County back into Geneva County until 6:30. We also have a flash flood warning until 8:15 that covers central and into the western part of Geneva County as well. We'll go in a little tighter here again, because I know some of you may be asking questions in the Facebook Live. And you can see Malvern right now getting very heavy rain. Slocum in the next 10 to 15 minutes, the worst of the weather is going to be coming into you. Hartford, you're in it. Black, you're in it. Geneva, you're in the very heavy rain and some of those wind gusts, 55 to 60 miles per hour. These storms tonight, this evening, are electric. I have on purpose kept the lightning tab off because there's so much lightning with these storms that it starts to clutter what we're trying to pick out, some of the features that we are trying to pick out there. But tremendous amounts of lightning through Geneva, now working into Houston County, and then even further west over into some of our worked over environment near Lockhart. We're talking about very, very heavy and high amounts of lightning.